Welcome back to the show. Check out these headlines we have for you. Regulator wars in the United States between the CFTC and the SEC. They're heating up, ladies and gentlemen, and the government sues another crypto exchange out of the U.S. We're going to talk about it. Ripple SEC remedy phase. We got that and so much more. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on YouTube and Twitter and digperspectives.com for exclusive content. Right now, $2.81 trillion market cap for crypto. The market is off by 0.3%. 70,700 plus for Bitcoin right now. 3,600 plus for Ethereum. Tether market cap 103.6 billion plus. XRP back at the number 7 spot, sliding down 62 cents. We're off by 2.4 in the 24-hour, but we're up by 4.5 on the 7 days. We'll keep an eye on it. The range of price between 61 and 64 cents. We're sitting pretty much in the middle there. And I want to tell you about private equity at Link 2, ladies and gentlemen. Uphold, Kraken, Ripple, you name it, they got it. Oh my goodness, Circle. Goodness gracious, it goes so crazy. It's like you can't mess around because there's so many different amazing products in the private equity space that they have on this platform. I could literally sit here for 30 minutes and just talk about it all. I mean, it's so, what a remarkable opportunity. But click the link underneath the video. If you don't know what you need to register, I can tell you right now, it's not the mountain to climb that you think it is. So make sure that you register. And if you're not sure if you're accredited, click the link below, go through the process and figure out what you need to do to close the gap. That's all you need to do. And it's so easy to fund your account and get started. You could do it same day. I'm telling you, it's super, super quick to get onboarded. Here we see, I get the opportunity to be at DC Blockchain Summit this year. I'm super excited about this, and it is a privilege and an honor to be able to do this. And I want to shout out to the Digital Chamber for having me. This is going to be super cool, and I can't wait for it. It is May 15th, 2024, just after XRP Las Vegas on May 3rd, May 4th. So it's going to be a really, really busy week or two there back to back, but this is going to be a lot of fun, and I'm super happy to be a part of this. So shout out to Digital Chamber for giving me that opportunity to be there with them. Looking forward to it. And here we see U.S. government indicts crypto exchange KuCoin and 2 of its founders on criminal charges, citing a multi-billion-dollar criminal conspiracy. Uh-oh, right? Let's get to it here. I'm going to bring you down to the part that I got where you find out what's going on here. So the exchange and 2 of its founders specifically were charged with conspiracy to operate an unlicensed money transmitting business, as well as failing to adhere to the Bank Secrecy Act. KuCoin had failed to maintain reasonable procedures for customer verification and suspicious activity observation. Attorney Damian Williams says the exchange deliberately sought to conceal the number of users on the platform. Moreover, they allege that KuCoin then took advantage of the sizable U.S. customer base to become one of the world's largest exchanges. Additionally, McCormick said the agency investigation called the exchange a criminal conspiracy. Look, I would not want to be these guys. Okay, there's the short message right there. Okay, the short message is I'm glad I'm not Chun Gang and K Tang, right? Because that's the 2 founders here that have now found themselves to be locked up. And this is all coming out of the press release from Southern District of New York. You know, again, you know, for those that think you're overseas, right, in those kinds of areas, and you think you're just like, oh, that's in the U.S., that doesn't pertain to me. I think Chun Gang and K Tang are going to tell you that that is not accurate, and that would be horrible legal advice to listen to that because they're locked up at the moment, right? And look, I'm not even trying to make light of this. I've said it a million times, and so is the SEC. If you're touching American customers, you're touching American regulations and American laws. There you go. Write that one down. And inside of this Qcoin lawsuit, we know that the CFTC has acknowledged that they say Ethereum and Litecoin are both commodities. However, we're getting a different angle from the SEC. So the SEC says ETH is a security. The CFTC says ETH is a commodity. And this sounds like a great opportunity for Congress to pass some legislation. Pretty please. We are paying you after all. Here's the evidence inside of the lawsuit from Jake Travinsky from Blockchain Association showing, in fact, the CFTC acknowledging that they are commodities, Ether, Litecoin. They include Bitcoin as well, but it's not in this conversation today, but we know that's how they see it. And here we see a letter written to Gary Gensler at the SEC over concerns about Prometheum's plans to list Ethereum as a security. And for the level set, for all the new people in this space, a lot of people joining the channel every day, very quickly here, Prometheum was awarded a special purpose broker-dealer's license directly from Gary Gensler's SEC. Problem is Prometheum is clearly got ties to Wanzhang, which is a communist China party-backed company. That's the problem. And how did they get such a coveted license from Gary Gensler and the SEC? And it also, the other angle here is that, is it possible that Prometheum is listing Ethereum as a security because the SEC doesn't want to list it as a security and sue Ethereum Alliance and Joseph Lubin and Vitalik Buterin over the ICO because it would give, you guessed it, discovery to their legal team to investigate all of the communications for which Joseph Lubin and the Ethereum Alliance are clearly aware of, I'm sure. So they won't go after the ICO. They're handicapped in that regard. So what do? They go after the change from proof of stake to proof of work to proof of stake. And now claiming that projects that are proof of stake are securities. If they pull this off, then everything that's proof of stake will fall under being a security. Look, I don't believe crypto in and of itself is securities. I believe they can be packaged that way, and they may, as they're trying to do here, establish precedent that if you're using proof of stake, then you are involved in a security contract or investment. Tom Emmer chimes in and says the SEC and the CFTC have an extensive record asserting that Ethereum is not a security. Why does Prometheum, an SEC registered broker-dealer, plan to custody Ethereum as a security? This is the problem, and that's why they wrote the letter trying to get this all sorted out. Mickle Markets has a nice little run here that you need to hear that I think all of us feel exactly the same way too. And this is really about, now I want to change gears because now we're going to Ripple remedy phase, and I want you to hear this about the way he lays this down. It's really remarkable.
Look at this tweet they put in evidence in the case. It's time to fire Gary Gensler and restructure the SEC.
Now, very quickly, there was a lot of images that were taken from social media platforms of all of us at XRP Las Vegas and other posts like what you're seeing here that Mickle is showing, right? And this was all put into evidence in the remedies phase motion to make the SEC's case. But keep listening here.
From Warren Davidson. The SEC, as evidence in their case, is bringing forward tweets from sitting congressmen saying that the SEC is completely out of line. The SEC is bringing tweets forward from a sitting congressman that is saying that the SEC is not acting in a faithful allegiance to the law when it comes to cryptocurrencies.
Seriously, it is like obvious to me that the SEC is massively butthurt here when you have a sitting congressman saying it's time to fire Gary Gensler and restructure the SEC. And he's spot on here. Shout out to Warren Davidson for that angle. And here is Warren Davidson actually highlighting John Deaton. John Deaton says, as a private citizen here and as a candidate of the United States Senate in Massachusetts, I'm calling for the resignation of SEC Governor Chairman Gary Gensler. Under Gensler, the SEC has forgotten or intentionally abandoned its primary mission in protecting innocent investors. It goes on, but you get it. And this is backed up by Warren Davidson, representative on the Hill here, says facts. Sadly, Congress has not yet resolved the Gary Gensler problem or the structural flaw with the SEC. Thanks, John Deaton, for making the case, no doubt about it. Now, I put in here, a gentleman said, you mean you haven't solved Gary Gensler's problem? You're in Congress, right? You have the majority with subpoena, contempt power, right? I agree. It is sad. Warren Davis says, brother, I don't have the majority. My party, my committee, yes, but one of 435 doesn't even get a recorded vote on the issue, send reinforcements. And I totally get that too. I ask here, I said, look, Warren Davidson, we appreciate your efforts in Congress on crypto fixing the SEC. Do you think using the subpoena power over Gary Gensler can be leveraged to get Maxine Waters on board for stablecoin legislation? Is it even needed? And do you think stablecoin legislation still has a chance of passing this year? And we haven't yet to hear from him. It's still early. I just made that post, but we'll let you know if we do. Jeremy Hogan comes in and responds to the SEC and their remedies motion for asking for a $2 billion fine from Ripple, knowing full well there is no laws that have been broken. And they want $2 billion. I mean, why not a helicopter and a pizza on the roof of a bank while we're at it? Because you might as well be bank robbers, for God's sake. So he says, how backward has the SEC got this? It wants $2 billion from Ripple, which will require Ripple to sell a lot of XRP, causing the price to drop, hurting the retail holder, you, and it would then disgorge the money back to rich institutional holders. Feel protected yet? You can't make it up. I mean, he nails it here. And then there's this. Shout out to Zach Rector for highlighting this on social media the other day. You know, we find out from the remedies phase filing motion that Ripple has entered into 80 more institutional sales contracts since the SEC lawsuit. So if anything, you can clearly see there is a demand to use this asset, right? And then you combine the understanding that what is the ultimate goal? The ultimate goal is for Ripple and XRP to work and complement inside of the banking and financial system broadly. And here you can see evidence of all of that stage being set. Now, none of us know when that will actually take place, but I know one thing is for certain. The logjam for clarity or the logjam to open up innovation and to really set this market in motion is legislation. It is legal clarity. It is regulatory clarity. And it's clear. And this is how you establish to the world that there's a difference between the internet and the dark web. And there's going to be a big difference between the regulated value protocols of the Internet of Value versus the internet protocols of the dark web that will also move value. Remember, there's Silk Road, right? And then there's MasterCard and Visa. So, you don't confuse the two. What we're seeing here, this long 4.5, almost 5-year run now to suppress this market, is really about establishing the difference between regulated payment rails and value protocols and ones that are not. It's going to come, and it'll come on their timeline. And they say right here, Smoke Dog says it best, a richer data layer can be overlaid onto proven systems like SWIFT through token technology with cross-border payment systems like Ripple. You can see it right there. SWIFT, through their token technology, this allows much greater adoption and likelihood of becoming a global standard. Cross-border payment systems being developed by players such as Ripple. You can see all of this. Anders chimes in and says, agreed, it's much faster path to just do the settlement layer and leave the messaging for SWIFT than for Ripple to convince 11,000 banks to join RippleNet. That would take a couple decades. It's exactly right. It's exactly right. And listen, I learned this when I had my own beach company. You know, you don't need to get 100% of the market capture. You need about 10. You get about 10% market capture, even 5, depending on what the market is and how many players are in the market. You just need to show them that you're viable and that it works. And they've done that. And it won't be much longer after we have clarity. We're going to find out just how important and how well it does work. That's what I believe. And for a lot of people that have been freaking out about the remedies phase filed motion by the SEC that says Ripple in all of 23 basically just made money from selling XRP. Listen, I don't know where the shock is coming from that I've seen on Twitter here, but I say the same thing Molly Elmore says it best here. If XRP is a currency that is supposed to be used as money, why are people upset that Ripple is using XRP to pay for things? Isn't that the primary use for money? This is so spot on. It's absolutely right. I mean, you know, I don't know why people are so upset that they were using XRP for exactly the same reasons that they have been 100% transparent about in the past. It doesn't make sense. I tell you what, this makes sense to me. And what makes sense to me is that the more clarity we get and the more freedom and clarity we get to understand that the financial system can begin to use this technology without the fear of getting in trouble, then the higher this goes. That's how I see it. $10, $27, $800, I'm here for it all, and I got bags for it all along the way. That's what I got, and I hope you do too. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. We are going into the Freedom Zone right now, and we're going to deal with some, this is heavy stuff right here. We're going to jump into some stuff that Boring Sleuth has been doing, and my concerns about censorship, you know, are very real, and we don't need to even talk about it. It is a real element out here. I don't care what they tell you. It is a very real element. So we're going to take it behind the wall today into the Freedom Zone. I hope you will join us. We're going in there now. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. I'll see you inside the Freedom Zone. Come on in. All right.